I'm here today because the American people have both the right and the responsibility to know the truth about unidentified aerial phenomenon. That truth remains hidden, classified and silenced by fear, retaliation, stigma, and confusion. Today, we are here to help break that silence. Between 2003 and 2005, 5 UAP incidents occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base, home to the National Missile Defense Project, a top national security priority. At the time, we were conducting launches deemed by the National Reconnaissance Office as the most important in 25 years. These were historic launches. These facilities were vital, and they were repeatedly visited by UAP. Each incident was witnessed by multiple personnel, documented, investigated, and reported up the chain of command. We sent information up, but we got no guidance down on how to handle these events. I personally witnessed one of these events and investigated others as they occurred. 6 other service members have provided me with the information that I will share with you today. The incursions began on October 14, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills. This event, now known as the Vandenberg Red Square, was referenced by Representative Luna at the first hearing on this topic. Official Air Force records of this event are in possession by Aero and the FBI. Later that night, while I was on duty, security guards at a critical launch site reported a bright, fast-moving object over the ocean. I responded to the incident. Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." Moments later, I heard them say that it had shot off and was gone. When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed. About a week later, another patrol reported a light over the ocean behaving erratically. Believing it might be an unannounced aircraft, they declared an emergency, and an armed response force responded. Before the forces could arrive, the object descended and either landed or hovered on our flight line, and then took off again at impossible speed. The witnesses to this event were threatened and intimidated afterward. They were told to keep quiet and think about what they were reporting. After that, things did get quiet until about 2005, when another patrol reported a massive triangular craft larger than a C-130 silently floating over the installation. He watched it for a few minutes. It traveled west and disappeared into the night. And then I had my own encounter, again in 2005. I was off duty, sitting in my backyard with 2 other police officers when we noticed what first appeared to be a satellite in orbit, but it wasn't acting like a satellite. The light was strange, it was pulsing, and then it started to maneuver. It dropped in elevation. At times it would vanish from view and reappear in a different location in the sky, and eventually it reappeared 200 feet over my house. It was a 30-foot diameter sphere of light. My friends and I watched it for a moment, and then it gently accelerated and traveled up and disappeared into the stars. These events profoundly changed my life and the lives of my friends. We stand at a pivotal moment in history. The question is no longer whether these events are real, but whether we have the courage to face them. True leadership requires vision, a willingness to confront the unknown with transparency and resolve. So I ask the Congress to help we, the people, enact this vision. There are 3 goals: fund independent research and treat UAP study with the same seriousness as we would any other scientific field. 2, end secrecy and overclassification. Transparency is the foundation of truth. Without it, witnesses like us are dismissed. 3, protect the witnesses. Many stayed silent out of fear for their careers, reputations, and the safety of their families. Protect them, and you will embolden others to join this cause. These phenomena challenge our deepest assumptions about reality, consciousness, and our place in the universe. Exploring them can unlock transformative breakthroughs in technology, biology, and human understanding. Let this be the moment when America chooses courage over fear, transparency over secrecy, and progress over stagnation. Let's show the world that our nation leads not only through strength, but through fearless pursuit of the truth.
Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekor Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. So you got this guy, Jeffery Nuccetelli, all right, speaking on the United States Air Force seeing the chariots of Israel, all right, which they know as UFOs. All right, and I can't remember the other guy. You know, I did a video on it not too long ago. And, you know, that was speaking on the same thing, man. The sightings of, you know, what they know as UFOs, you know, and these vehicles, all right, being on these military bases and, being on these military bases and, you know, making the nuclear launch pads go haywire and, you know, just playing around with these folks, man. All right. But eventually, you know, these vehicles that you know as UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel, all right, are going to come back and destroy, man. All right, deliver the hopeful elect and destroy all the undesirables in this place, man. You know, accompanied by the thermonuclear fire that's going to hit this place and ultimately take it out, you know. But this Acts 1:11, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahweh Shai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. All right, because the Lord was taken up in a chariot, man, taken up in a cloud. All right, it's another, you know, way the chariots are described in the scriptures. All right, that you know as UFOs, you know, taken up in a cloud. And the angel said to him, you know, to the men, you know, the same way you seen the Lord Yahweh Shai, who you people call Jesus Christ, the same way you seen him lead this earth is the same way he's coming back. All right. So Revelation 1:7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. All right. He cometh with clouds. You know, once again, chariots are what you know as UFOs are also described as clouds in the scriptures, man. And Yahweh Shai, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, this is how he's coming back with many angels to wage war on this place, all right? And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, all right? Those who, you know, put him to death, all right? Because, you know, reincarnation is in the scriptures. I'm not going to really get into it, but, you know, those, you know, Roman soldiers that pierced him and, you know, and mocked him and ripped his garment, spit on him and all these things, you know, they're here today and they will be judged for that, all right? Matthew 16:27, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. He's going to pass judgment on everybody. All right. The Son of Man, Yahweh Shai, shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels. All right. It's going to be the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and many angels, man. That's going to come and judge this place. You know, and it sounds far-fetched to you because it wasn't given to you. You thinking of some sci-fi movie or, you know, something like that, you know. But these vehicles that they know as UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel, you know, these is people that's, you know, in the service. You think this dude just came up here and lied? They've been seeing the chariots, man. And you see at the beginning of the video, he said something to the effect of, the American people have the right to know, because it was like a hush-hush thing. But now Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is putting a spirit on them, all right, to speak these things. All right. Second Ezra 13:13. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. All right, this is Yahweh Shai and the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right, every eye shall see him, and they gonna tremble, man. All right, this chariot, as Ezra is gonna describe, is as big as a damn mountain, man. The dude said big as a football field, or he compared it to some aircraft in the military. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet, man. All right. Continuing on, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. You know, that's them beams, man. All right. That's good. That concentrated, pardon me, that concentrated fire, man, that come out of them ships. And once again, it may seem like some sci-fi movie shit, but this is real. This is in the scriptures. They're telling you this, that they're seeing these vehicles. You have many sightings of chariots. You got brothers who catch a chariot on camera in the sky just sitting idle. You know, I've seen people catch, glimpses of chariots moving. You know, the Most High toying with their military. You know, having these chariots around to show them that they inferior, man. And after this is verse 15, 2nd Ezra 13 and 15. Oh, pardon me, 13 and 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That's what you call what they call it, a mothership, but a fathership, like the main ship. All right. Ezra described it as if Yahweh Shai graved himself a great mountain. Because if you look at a mountain, you can't see the end or the beginning of it. It's that vast. It's that big. And that's how these chariots is, man. Or this chariot that Yahweh Shai is going to show up in. This is going to be the grand entrance of all grand entrances of ever, when this man, our Lord Yahweh Shai, when this man cracked the sky, and just come through, and the whole world going to see it. Every eye shall see him. The whole world is going to see it. Everybody going to remember the day if they ain't put to death. Everybody going to remember the day Yahweh Shai came back, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, man. All right. Continuing on, it says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. See, once again, the ship is so big, Ezra couldn't see where it started or where it ended. The ship is that big. And you have these chariots that these men have seen. The congressman came out and said something. I believe this guy is a former Air Force officer or some shit like that. Those ships that they seen was, smaller ships. And they're in awe of it. And they have to tell everybody. So imagine this ship that Yahweh Shai is coming in to destroy. All right. Everybody's going to be in awe, man. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. All right. It's going to scare the shit out of everybody. Just like when you see those videos of people catching chariots on camera, they say, wow, what is that? Oh, he like bugging out, man. So when these chariots, all right, what you know as UFOs show up to wage war in this place, man, you're going to be so afraid, man. All right. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, man. Right? Because all these things are within that beam, if you will, that concentrated fire. All right. Sparks within it, tempest, what would look like a whirlwind and lightning within this concentrated fire. And Yahweh Shai is going to be zapping their ass, man. Y'all ain't going to touch the Lord. It's not going to be, a close fight, if you will, or a fight at all. You just going to get completely destroyed. All them nations over there in the Middle East, or when everybody gathers over there in the Middle East to fight this war, that's when, boom, Yahweh Shai, he's going to crack the sky, man. And they all gonna stop fighting each other and look up and try to gang up on what they perceive to be as the real enemy. And they all gonna get fried, man. Zapped. Destroyed. And we getting closer and closer, to that time, man. Second Ezra 13 and 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and a smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Even Ezra, when he got this vision, he was afraid. This is about the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. This shit is about the return of the Lord. Yahweh Shai is about to bug everybody out. You're going to be scared as hell. You're going to be scared as hell even before he cracked the sky, because all hell going to be breaking loose in the street. This is about to be the greatest triumph, all right, the greatest deliverance, all right, starting with the hopeful elect of all time. And these chariots are being revealed more and more, man. All right, Psalms 104 and 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as a garment. That's cold. Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh the cloud his chariot. All right, clouds are pardon me, the chariots of Israel, which you know as UFOs are like in the clouds as well. So you go back to Revelation 1 and 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. All the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so. Amen. All right. So the chariots are like in the clouds in the scriptures, man. All right. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh. And the dead in Yahweh Shai shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. All right. Caught up together with them in the clouds. The elect is going to get beamed out of here, man. All right. That's how the elect is going to be delivered in this, from this captivity, is to be beamed up. It's not going to be, as we were in ancient Egypt, walked through the wilderness for 40 years. Walked through the wilderness, and the Lord gonna beam the elect up and the undesirables, all right, amongst our nations, the 2/3. God just gonna go down with this place. All right. pardon me, 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither do of corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. You know, how we gonna be changed? Your body gonna be changed. You know, this weak ass fleshly body, you know, they get sick, get hurt, you know. We gonna get a new body, a God-like body, the elect. And it can sound far-fetched all it won't, you know, it's cool. But the fact that what they call UFOs even existed was far-fetched, let's say how many years ago, whatever you want to say. Now you got the damn old government talking about it. But I guess, you know, they lying too. Verse 53, 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. All right, this corruptible flesh has to put on incorruption. All right, and the mortals that we are in this flesh are going to put on immortality. I'm starting with the hopeful elect. Because in the kingdom of heaven, you know, Israel ain't going to die no more. Going to live forever. It's going to be no reason for death because we're not going to go off. And this will all happen upon the arrival, you know, going back to the original point of the video, upon the arrival of these chariots of Israel, which you know as UFOs. All right. Verse 54, 1 Corinthians 15 and 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Because, you know, once again, ain't gonna be no reason for no death, man. You know, the Israelites are gonna be immortal and God-like. And all you nations is gonna be in subjection under Israel. And this is gonna happen, you know, upon the arrival, or as I speak on the deliverance of the nation of Israel. This is gonna happen upon the arrival of what you know as UFOs, which are the chariots of Israel. And ain't no little green man in there, you know, some ugly creature, you know, all them sci-fi movies and all that type of business. Now these are what you would know as Negroes. You see the other video, that video was old as hell, but the old dude who was shook, yeah, it was 10-foot black men coming out of there. That means the angels, man. You know, and I know it's far-fetched for Jake because you've been beaten to the point where you think you ain't nothing but a nigga in America, but that's how the Most High wants you. So, you know, whatever. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. All right, the strangeness of the salvation of the elect. Because as we sit here and tell you that UFOs, which you know is full of Martians and space creatures and shit, you know, we telling you, and the angels in there, them the chariots of Israel. When the world is at its darkest place in Jacob's trouble and the whole world is in an uproar, these vehicles is going to come save us. They're going to beam us up. That's strange, even coming out of our mouth. So imagine seeing it. Imagine seeing it when you in, you know, desperation and despair. You ain't got nothing else, you know, you could think of doing, and you see these men, all right, these Negroes, Latinos, Natives, Seminole Indians, all the people you call niggas and spicks and shit, getting beamed up to the chariots. Now you do have Israelite foreigners, do have people who look like the other nations, but they Israelites too. Going back, to the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, unto Jacob, unto the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, but the undesirables, all right, like the Most High said, he ain't called many mighty or many noble. All right, the undesirables in this society that's just, some bums, like y'all say, and camps say, and other people say, it's some bums, getting beamed up. You're gonna feel like shit. And you're gonna be amazed, man. All right, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for, you know. Luke 21 and 25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and men's heart failing them for fear. There ain't gonna be no tough guys, man. And Jake, you soft. Jake ain't, you Negroes, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native, y'all really soft, man. Just like I seen that dude, I ain't gonna veer off too much, but I seen a dude talking about, yeah, Trump better not come to Chicago. We got switches and this, that, and the third. Then people started seeing the video, and like the next day he said, well, I ain't mean it like that. Jake is a coward. So men's heart failing them for fear. Jake gonna be bugged out, man. Because you don't have a power source. You don't have a power to pray to. You don't know his name. Or you concealing his name. And Yahweh Shem Shai, he know all those that are his, man. So y'all just gonna be out there praying to false gods and getting mashed on, man. Continuing on, Luke 21 and 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. All right, they go to that word cloud again, man. All right, going back to Revelation 1 and 7 again. All right, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. All right. Clouds, man. And it's the vehicles that as UFOs, man. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And that's the redemption of the hopeful elect, man. All right. So when you see these type of things, it's not to be taken lightly, man. Everybody think everything a joke these days, But these are the chariots of Israel, and these are the vehicles, all right, that's going to deliver the hopeful elect when all hell break loose on this place, man, in Jacob's trouble, all right? But I ain't going to hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.